People like to hear their names. I'm no exception. Please call my name. Call my name. No new tale to tell. No new tale to tell. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter, in the waning, well, not quite the waning days of August, is it? It's still pretty early.
I'll tell you, I don't
feels
know.
like it.
The dog days. I think we're in the dog days.
We are.
Kind of a summer is going by. I'll tell you what, the older I get, the older the days and the faster the days and the weeks just go by. It's incredible.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you sit around and you think about, what was 25 years ago. I was entering my senior year in high school.
Wow.
I remember the year of the baseball strike and all that, 1994. So, I mean, 25 years ago. I know you were 39 years old then, but I mean... My word. No, I'm kidding. So, yeah, but that does not seem... It seems like about 10 years ago. That's what it seems like. Yeah. Hard to believe.
It goes fast. I know I was thinking the other day, it's like, oh, my goodness, I got to put up the Christmas tree soon. I don't want to do that.
Well...
That's a chore I'm not ready for yet.
It'll be here soon. Are you one of those that leaves the Christmas lights on all year?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No. Goodness.
I still want to know if Clark Griswold ever took those lights down from Christmas Vacation that were up.
Yeah.
That was a lot of them.
That's a lot of them, yeah. I don't think I wouldn't be doing that.
No. I think there's, especially when they're all one color. I mean, come on.
Right. Well, there is that.
They got to be colorful.
No, the white lights just really there's not a lot of luster there.
Yeah, more like yellow. Almost more like yellow. Like
not with the new LED ones. Those are plenty bright white.
Yeah, the ones that cost 5 times as much. Those ones.
Yeah, those ones. Those ones. The expensive ones that. I don't know. I still haven't seen like a cost analysis. Like, sure, you have to buy lights more, with the incandescent bulbs, but, really.
Anybody's bill
cheaper.
Gone down? Anybody? I mean,
well, maybe, but
I don't know.
The incandescent lights are definitely cheaper. You can buy a lot of incandescent lights, especially at the dollar store or something, for what you would go buy for one LED bulb. To say nothing about outfitting a whole house with those things. So, I don't know. And they're bright. Yeah, let me tell you, I mean, this is not a bash on the police or on ambulance, drivers or things like that, but your lights are so bright that I'd be surprised if they didn't cause accidents.
Well, and government will mandate whatever lead standards.
The police aren't choosing it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's their bosses, the knuckleheads that run these cities. That surprised New Hopes haven't blinded somebody thinking, how that city's run.
Yeah.
By the way,
yes.
The song that we started with, what the hell was it again?
No New Tale to Tell from Love and Rockets.
Love and Rockets.
Yeah.
I would not have gotten that.
Probably not.
It's like the Love and Rockets to me playing Houston. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, who are the Rockettes? Are they in New York still?
Yeah, I believe so.
They used to dance with
tour.
Liberace?
They do a tour once in a while.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're still around?
I think around Christmas time or
So
something.
who is that? The Rockettes?
Love and Rockets.
Love and Rockets.
Yes.
Lovin Rockets?
No, Love and.
Oh, Love and.
Yeah, Rockets.
Love, it's not and apostrophe.
Right. It's not like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
It's Love and Rockets.
Shake and bake. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, there's the song. You can find that on spotfly.org or wherever that is. Jay, correct me.
Most of you probably have a Spotify app on your phone, and you don't need to go out to the website. Or you have.
I have one too, but I don't know how to use it. Yeah, I got one.
We'll have a lesson after class. How about that?
Fair enough. I got one, but it doesn't lead to anything. So it just asks me my password, and I don't know it. So so you can get that app thingy. And it has all the songs from 126 episodes or 7.
You can listen to the episodes. We got those on the on Spotify, and we got the songs, the music from the podcast playlist on Spotify as well.
Hours and hours of stuff.
Fun for the whole family.
We are like the 2.5 year tradition now, or even longer.
Yeah.
Even longer than
Yeah.
that. Jay, I am fresh off a radio appearance.
Yes.
You and I don't do that stuff like we used to. I always feel like when you have your own show, whatever I have to say, I've already said.
Right.
I don't necessarily have the desire to say it again. But we hadn't been on with Brad Carlson in a long time on AM 1280, and
Correct.
I kind of snuck in there as a I don't know if I was like the C choice or whatever to go on, but I'm just kidding. But Brad and I had a good discussion. We'll link the show to the blog where you can. I was on for an hour. And it's not like podcasting, of course. I forget there's a hard break. And, you and I can just talk and talk and talk. And
yeah, we kind of have the best of everything.
yeah,
right
it is.
here.
It is great. I mean, it is something else. But we did talk a lot about, just as a heads up for folks who don't know or didn't hear about it. We had a discussion about St. Louis Park, about the Pledge of Allegiance and the Republican Party sort of declaring victory, quitting, and leaving the scene, which they've pretty much done. Kind of sort of as we predicted on this program. And Brad's a proponent of ours and a proponent of local stuff. And so it was fun to go on. I hadn't been on there in a long time. I know you haven't been either. We did guest host once before we did the podcast. But, for the most part, and I know that we ruffled feathers last month with some of our commentary, and particularly me. But
that's normal.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, I consider that a good thing. I consider getting people thinking. I'm willing to get bashed for it. And I didn't get bashed necessarily, but it was sort of a wake-up call to everybody saying, look, what kind of council people you have here. I mean, where is the organization? Where is the call to run for office and the call to serve and the follow-up to this? And we all know what we have in St. Louis Park. What are we going to do about it? Okay, we reinstated the pledge. Great. And it is good.
It is good. Yeah.
But it's not VJ Day. It's Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And I think everybody pranced around and like I said, and this I got a little flack for saying, well, everybody dressed up as Uncle Sam and waved the flag and then went home and didn't care anymore.
Right.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't disagree with that.
yeah. So I mean, what do we do now? And what we do now, a real victory to me, would be removing those folks from office.
Right.
But we all know that no follow-up is going to happen.
Right.
So, once again, we're doomed to be disappointed. St. Louis Park got to be on the radar of every, conservative, liberty-minding thinking person in this upper state area, this upper 5-state region. All should know. The President of the United States tweeted about it. I mean, everybody ought to know about it, but everybody's just going back to, what do we do about 2020? And nobody even mentioned that St. Louis Park has elections this year.
Right.
And they have commission openings. And where the hell are you? And where's the local BPOU? I mean, there's no follow-up to it. It was very frustrating. It was good to kind of air that out. Brad and I had a good conversation. Like I said, we will link the podcast to the blog, the Community Solutions page. Very, very shortly. And
that is at COMMsolutionsMN.com.
Right.
Yes.
So it was, it was a good experience. It was a good, like I said, it's been a long time since I've been on live radio.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way to edit you out.
No kidding. I mean, gee. And I'll say something too. Being on the podcast, I kind of let some language slip once in a while. There are things that maybe you can't say on a network. And I sort of caught myself a couple times.
Yeah.
Wanting to say, arse or blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of had to correct, wait a minute. We don't do what we want anymore here. there's what do you call it, SEC violations or whatever it is. So, but a fun time. I mean, it was good to do the show, and like I said, you and I don't really do those kinds of things much anymore. But every audience doesn't hear us or hasn't discovered us. There's always somebody new. There were some good calls that came in that we discussed also. So all in all, a pretty fun time. We even had time to talk about the Twins for a little bit. So it was a good hour.
Yeah, well, and that is the one thing I think I miss sometimes about doing a podcast is that we don't have the calls. Those are always fun, and maybe we should do some live radio just to take some calls here and there. But
well, you and I have done live Facebook stuff where we've taken a whole lot of questions, but that's been more of a private thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Call-ins would be it's interesting to do that. But I like the podcast structure so much better where we just go as long as we want to and we don't care about time or anything like that.
It does allow us to be able to talk about something and not...
And we go off on tangents. I mean, I go off all the time.
Yeah.
Even you do once in a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's almost like a weekly occurrence now that I, blow my stack about something.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And I'm sure it will continue on this show.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna do the mess around.
And just so I just want to throw this.
I had to throw a little Ray Charles in there because I know who he is.
Well, that's all right. He's plenty good. Maybe we'll throw some on one of these weeks if the right song happens.
I might get that one. I might get Ray Charles' number.
Yeah.
The nighttime is the right time. Or whatever, I don't know. He sings it well. Yes. I would know it if he sang it.
That's all right. Each of these races, there are 3 races in St. Louis Park this year, and none of these are uncontested, so that's good. I don't know who these people are that are running, so I can't say anything about that.
Does even Jake the Snake has an opponent?
Yes, he does. Yvette Baudelaire.
Oh, okay.
So... she does not have a website, so
well, that's wonderful.
That's not good. Yeah, so there, and in seat A, which is the A side of the district, you have Deb Brinkman, Steve Halfin, and Larry Kraft.
Remember, it's ranked choice voting here, so that's yeah. It's a little
good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
And on the B side, you have Joseph Israel versus Nadia Mohammed. So hopefully we won't have a replay of the 6-Day War or something like that. Can I say that?
Versus Muhammad.
Can I say that? Is that wrong?
Sure, Archie Bunker. Okay. They would be, looks at a balance. There's a Jew and Italian. Why not?
Okay. Oh boy.
So 3 races. Jake the Snake is Ravishing Rick going after Jake the Snake or whatever it is, and then we've got whoever it is, Fabulous Moolah or whatever name you said, doesn't matter. Whoever it is, just vote him out. So, and then 2 other races. I mean, again, folks. I mean, you have the choices that you have. I mean. I don't know what to say. My guess is you've got a socialist, a liberal, and a communist. That would be my guess.
Probably in most of these instances, that's probably true. Sounds like a bad joke. A communist, a socialist, and a progressive walk into a bar and...
Well,
everybody's taxes went up 10%.
Yeah. They ordered on everyone else. They drank on the house.
I don't know.
So I mean, but it might be a Minneapolis-like choices. I don't know. But boy, something's got to happen in this city. I'll tell you what, it's pretty bad. Now, like I say, we're doing the mess around.
Mm-hmm.
Now we did this once last year. We kind of hop, skipped, and jumped from city to city. And
I see how you tied that in. I guess I could have taken your suggestion on that, but then you would have been right.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So we're going to kind of mess around with several subjects from several different cities and kind of give a 10-minute or whatever. We can take whatever time we want to talk about little issues going on everywhere. So, Jay, where do you want to start this mess around? Where are we gonna do the mess around?
Let's wait on the education issue, and let's come back to that.
It'd be good to leave with a laugh.
We just talked about filing and how in St. Louis Park there were contested races for all of the races. Also in Golden Valley, Shep Harris has filed to run again as mayor. Boy wonder, as you have
he's
called
no
him.
taller, but he's going to run for a third term.
Versus Steve Schmidgall, the illustrious city councilman who tried to get rid of the Pledge of Allegiance in Golden Valley.
Now, let me ask you something. These two are not very far apart in issues.
Not really, no.
Is this a personal thing? Is this that they don't like each other? I mean, I know they don't like each other that much.
Right.
Is this one of these, we agree, but I agree more than you, or some kind of thing like that? Because, I mean, when you think about the big picture, I don't see many differences between these two guys. No. One's 6'2" and one's like 5'1". But other than that, I mean, what?
I would say that Shep Harris is your dyed-in-the-wool progressive.
Yeah.
A progressive Democrat. Versus
with ambitions to go higher.
Absolutely. And I think...
I don't mean in height.
Oh, my word. I think Steve Schmidgall probably... I don't know. I would say he's probably to the left of that. I mean, anytime you're looking at getting rid of the pledge, anytime that you are... he has stood up for some things that are, I think, a little further left than Shep, but not... Like you say, they're pretty close. Again, it's a
communist,
socialist.
Why would he run then?
Yeah.
He's giving up his council seat, by the way. He's up this year.
He is. He must be tired of being on the council unless he's going to run it. Maybe that's what all it is. It's like, I want to be in charge.
It's all an ego thing? I mean, I don't know. Because to me, I mean, if you're going to challenge somebody, you got to make the case. I mean, if I took Shep and Schmidgall and did all their votes, I bet they'd be 90% or higher together.
Could be. I think there are some things where they have disagreed with each other.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last year about the I think it was the gun thing.
Yeah.
Or what was it? Where, Shep, I think, was not being forthcoming with the rest of the council, and Joni Clausen, and who's not far from Shep either, in my opinion. But I know they don't like each other.
Right.
Joni's no conservative, but she doesn't like Shep.
No.
So, I mean... Is he making a lot of enemies from within, or what's going on here? There's a lot of, I mean, I don't know how DFLers fight with each other. If they,
well, no, I mean,
throw frisbees at each other or what? I don't know. Because they don't believe in guns. They don't believe in.
Yeah.
How do they have a little wrestling match?
Who burns the stinkiest patchouli oil?
Yeah,
I don't know.
A little mud wrestling. I don't know what they do, but I see those three as not too far apart on issues, but very far apart on personality.
Yeah.
So is this going to be a dirty, kind of. Back and forth between Schmidgall and if you're not going to campaign on issues, if you don't differ on issues, what else you got?
Right. Nothing, I guess. It's either issues or personality. That's really it. That's what it comes down to.
Well, neither one of them have a personality, so I don't know how you're going to campaign on that. Now, who are the other candidates in the council race? Because there is going to be an open an open seat.
Right. So Joni Clausen is running for her seat. And let's see. There's Maurice Harris.
Well, he's not.
We can't have two people named Harris.
No, you can't have Harris and Harris.
No, sounds like a law firm at that point.
No kidding.
Kimberly Sandberg, not from Sandberg Middle School. And Andy Johnson.
Okay.
It looks like I don't know any of those.
Who are they?
Except for Joni Clausen. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. I'm sure we'll look into that more, but the filings ended with the primary, so nothing can change. I think there's still a day or two to withdraw. So maybe Harris and Schmidgall will pinky wrestle or something.
I doubt that. I mean, unless Schmidgall doesn't want to be on the council at all anymore.
Well,
you know,
but he can't file on the council now.
he can't file to go back and run for the council seat now.
You don't think a backroom deal will be reached? I guess not. I mean, maybe not.
I don't know that it can be.
Some weird stuff going on in Golden Valley. We'll have to dig into who these people are, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I know Shep Harris is well financed, so Schmidgall must have something up his sleeve.
He must. I mean, I know. I don't know how much Shep had in the last election, but in his first election, he had like a bankroll of $10,000.
Well, and keep in mind, the last time when he ran for re-election, he didn't win by that much.
No.
It was like a 54-46 kind of race, and you never know in an odd year, how it's going to break, especially two guys who, like I said, don't really differ on that many issues.
Right. Well, and I would like to talk about that for a moment. I mean, we've always kind of harped on odd year elections, and this is why. You have a city that just doesn't turn out, or a school district that just really doesn't turn out for the elections. And so you have a small minority of people that are picking who will run that school district or city. And, when you have people come out for a presidential election, for a gubernatorial election, it brings out so many more voters, and you get the say of more people, a higher percentage of that area. Now, that's not to say those people did any of their research, but, you get people who are maybe more politically savvy or politically enticed, to participate in that way in an odd year versus, everybody still has to live under the same rules, but...
Yeah. Well, I think the odd year is also a way to control it. You can't control it when 80% of the people are coming. Yeah. You can't control the turnout.
Right.
And I'm not saying low turnout. I don't know who that benefits, but
I think if you're in a purple area, incumbents.
I think it benefits incumbents generally speaking.
I think it does because you've already got this system set up where if you're in a more blue area, you're going to more easily elect the people who are of that mindset. And,
sure, you
get the same thing without in the red parts of Minnesota as well.
If you're in the blue area, you get the union lists and you get all that. In the red area, you've got caucus lists and so on and so forth. And if you can control that and turn out your side, but again, is that representative of everybody in Golden Valley?
No.
So it's I believe, in 2015, that something like 20% of the electorate came out in that race in Golden Valley, which stinks.
Yeah,
Golden Valley ought to hang their head in shame, particularly the government, for allowing that to happen and thinking any of those people on the council have any legitimate claim that they know what the majority of Golden Valley residents think.
Right.
They wouldn't know it if it ran them over. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'm intrigued by Schmidgall Harris.
Yeah.
I'd leave my ballot blank if I lived in Golden Valley. I might turn it into toilet paper, but I'm still interested to see them go at it.
I might write in Boss Hog or something. But
I would much rather have Boss Hog than have one of those two. So, yeah, I can live with him, running some moonshine whiskey. I can't live with the policies that the two of them have advocated. Neither one of them are agents of change. Neither one of them are anything different for the city. Again, I think this is just I don't like you, and I don't like you either. So I think that's the choices. The choices are cold beans or cold
beans with ham
stale.
And cold beans with Franks.
Stale corn on the cob or something. That's your choices there. So have fun, Golden Valley.
Yeah.
Another great election for you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Brooklyn Center. We
haven't talked about Brooklyn Center much.
Not a whole bunch.
They're a bigger city than you realize. I believe there's 30,000 residents there.
Yeah, and it's a fully developed city.
Sure, first ring suburb, a lot of the cities around here.
Yeah, for a first-ring suburb, for a fully developed city, it's pretty big. Notwithstanding, of course, you got places like Bloomington and the like, but Bloomington's pretty big. Brooklyn Center, you've got from the river over to the border with Crystal over by the airport. And then,
up to 694.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much Brooklyn Park after that.
Yeah, it goes a little past 694.
On the east side, yeah. But
on the east side it does.
Second you get on, north of 694 on Shingle Creek, it's pretty much Brooklyn Park there. Yeah, it's not a huge area geographically, but 30,000 residents, a pretty good sized city in Minnesota.
Right.
What are they doing? What are they doing in Brooklyn Center?
Well, it's
a little confusing, I think.
It is confusing. They want to enact, or they are enacting, an interim moratorium for development in an opportunity site. This is from a Sun Post here. So
now, a moratorium means we're not going to do anything or allow anything to be done.
Right, but this is an interim one, so it's temporary.
I think it's a 1 year max. I think if I remember state law, I think you can't impose a moratorium for longer than that.
Right. So what they have,
I don't know.
So this has only been the
first. It just
first.
Sounded good.
This has been the first reading of this ordinance. So they have this opportunity site.
Opportunity to do what? Build what they want?
Well, opportunity to do nothing for the next year, at least, I guess. It's 81. They estimate 81 acres of land from Summit Drive to the north, Shingle Creek Parkway to the west, Bass Lake Road to the south, and Highway 100 and Summit Drive to the east.
Well, that's a big area.
That's a big area.
Big area.
That is a big area. So I'm trying to think here. You have Shingle Creek Parkway on the west edge of that, and Bass Lake Road, and then Highway 100 on the east. And so in between that's where you have like the Ocean Buffet. It's just north of where the old mall was.
Yeah, there used to be a movie theater, a car dealership.
Yeah, it's that area. Yes, Best Buy over
used
there.
To be there.
Trying to remember exactly.
That's a restaurant depot now, I want to say.
Where Summit Drive. Oh, that's right. This goes all the way up.
Summit Drive, I believe, is up by the library there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that then makes sense with something that you and I were talking about off air with the whole Target thing, because that's in that area as well. Mm-hmm. The former Target that is now not Target at all. It is
becoming a Target.
Well, for something.
Yeah, a Target for something. It ain't
a Target for redevelopment.
It ain't Target, but it's going to become a Target.
Goodness. So, yes, under state law, the moratorium can be placed for no longer than 12 months. The council did approve a full 12-month moratorium, and it can be lifted earlier at the will of the council.
But so they're not going to do anything. Now, what is the council? Council owns part of this.
Yes. Yes,
it's 81 acres, but they have skin in part of it.
Yes, they do. The old Target.
Okay. Anything?
But I don't know about that whole strip mall. I would assume that they would have to buy that entire strip mall where you have the Rose Garden buffet.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. Somebody owns it. Somebody does. Target doesn't anymore, but somebody owns that area. Now, what does this mean, an opportunity zone? What are they going to do? Tear everything down in there and rebuild what they want?
Yeah,
how can they do that? On what authority?
Well, like you say, the council owns, it says in here, approximately 35 acres of the opportunity site property, not including its potential 9-acre purchase of the former Target site.
Okay, so they haven't bought it yet.
Right. Now, the city has been in a master development agreement with our friends over at Lattice LLC since
Lattice Morissette?
Yes. It's ironic, isn't it? Since April 2018 for the city-owned land. Yeah. It's a song that about stuff that just stunk. It wasn't ironic at all. Anyways, this is the company that built the Ironwood stuff over in No Hope.
Yeah.
that got all this money from the government in TIF funding and just
whatever else, tax breaks, abatements, whatever else.
Right.
We haven't even uncovered it all, to be honest. I mean, who knows what else is in these? It's not like the deal is on their website anywhere.
Right.
So.
But, New Hope gave Lattice a ton of money to build that. And I'm sure Brooklyn Center.
A lot of jagged little pills.
Yes. I'm sure Brooklyn Center is going to give a ton of money to Lattice to build in this area after the moratorium.
But here's a question.
Yes.
Let's say, okay, so they own 35 acres, which is not a small chunk of land. Plus, if they take 9 more from Target, they own a majority of it.
Yeah.
So what do they do with that?
Well,
I mean, what do you want to bet? I don't even have to look. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
But what do you want to bet it is a high-density, mixed-use, roundabouts, green space, fountain of youth, whatever, naked surfing, whatever something they put in there, extra sidewalks, extra bike paths.
with a Planet Hollywood.
Right, a Planet Hollywood, and like a nail salon. And I mean, what do you want to bet? In some way, shape, or form, those are the plans.
Well, it's funny why they put this moratorium on.
Yeah, what's their reasoning for it? I mean, I think it's to buy Target. They don't have a majority of the land, and they got to get it.
I think that's part of it, but they don't have a master plan completed, and they don't want people to start building in there until they can control the zoning in that area.
In other words, they can control who goes in there and who can't.
They are working on the master plan right now. They worked with a consultant back in 2006 for an opportunity site master plan, and that document
it still ain't done.
No,
I hope the consultant was well paid.
No, it's supposed.
Tip this guy.
It's expected. I wouldn't be paying but 10% with how late he is. Maybe less,
especially with minimum wage the way it is.
He'd not be getting a 20% tip from me. The new document is expected to be completed by mid-2020.
Oh, so it's just another year.
Right, right, exactly. So that is why there's a year moratorium on, because they can halt all this until their master plan is done and approved.
What a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yes,
bring the circus to Brooklyn Center. Just walk right into City Hall.
And I mean, and I'm sure that's what it's going to be. Is this mixed use, high density.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not slamming on anyone in that area, but if you've ever been around those apartment buildings that are on the other side of where the Target area is, over by the community center and the what is it? The DMV and all that, and the library.
Yep.
And the apartments over there aren't very nice, and the parking lot is tore up, and it's not the best area.
Why don't they enforce their city code then?
Yeah. So I think you put lipstick on a pig and you hope that people are going to move in there and revitalize the area.
Jack up the rent, and
you're going to
take all the property
tax
money.
You're going to have jobs right there because you're going to have all these new businesses.
Oh, and there's a bus transit station close.
Yeah.
Right on Bass Lake Road.
Yeah, that's down
Wally Mart. There's a Wally Mart right there.
That's close. That's I don't know if that's quite a half mile. Maybe that's less than a half mile.
I think it's less than a half mile if you're toward Bass Lake Road. If you're up toward the library, it's probably, that's a lot of walking for people. I mean,
but
they could bike there.
Yeah.
And they could get a canoe and go through Shingle Creek.
I'm sure there are buses that go up and down Shingle Creek Parkway.
Oh, there's got to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Take a canoe in Shingle Creek. Oh, my word.
Just don't step anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that
yeah. You don't want to be up Shingle Creek without a paddle.
No, you don't want to be. There's things living in there that haven't been discovered yet. So I don't know what's going on with that water runoff, but it's pretty bad. Okay. So they're opportunity. I love how it's an opportunity. That's such a corporate word.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you'd get an evaluation. Here's what you're good. Instead of saying here's what you're good at and here's what you suck at, it's here's what you're good at and here are your opportunities.
Yeah.
That's just such corporate. Oh God. I wonder what the technical definition. I don't want to look it up now, but maybe we go for a future show. We got to talk about it because there's enterprise zones,
Right.
which are set up by the federal government, I think.
Well, I think that it's probably similar to that. I thought that they were going to be building over in that area over what used to be there. Was it a New Market grocery store that was there? And it's just for 10 years it's been an empty asphalt lot with grass growing up through it.
Yeah, that must be right off Bass Lake Road. When I was a kid, that was a movie theater over there.
Right there?
Yeah, on the very far side. If you Bass Lake and Shingle Creek, the north.
Oh no! I know where that is. That became the Hat later on.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking right next to where the Pizza Hut and all that stuff is over there.
Oh, that's a little inward. Yeah.
Bass Lake Road and Xenia. Is that I think that's Xenia that runs up there.
Yeah. Could be. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, Opportunity Zone, mid-2020. We'll check back and we'll check on their master plan of high density, fountain of youth, green space with a mixed use development with a nail salon, next to a caribou or something, which will be happening over there. Now, Jay, let's move on.
Yeah, you want to move on from the opportunity zones?
Yeah. Now, what do we got next? What's next on the agenda?
Oh goodness.
Can't talk about Robbinsdale schools yet because we got to save the funniest for last.
Absolutely. It's
not funny. I mean, really, in reality, it's not funny.
Right.
But it is funny.
Sherburne County.
Sherburne County. Good ice cream.
Yeah.
Sherburne County.
They were talking about Tobacco 21.
Hey, you know what?
Whether to implement that at a county-wide level.
Right, and I said this. Look for Hennepin County to pick this up.
Yeah, well, let's hope not. Let's not give them ideas. That's the only way it's going to get passed in Crystal.
Yeah, but I mean, how about the vaping issue? I remember they took that right away and passed it immediately. So Crystal had debated it, decided not to act on it. Immediately, Hennepin County came in and said, sorry, we don't care what you think. We're going to enact it.
Right.
So I would say Hennepin County is, and that's an issue I'm not sure where everybody quite stands on it. I can tell you there's a few people at Hennepin County that I guarantee you are for it. I won't mention names, Marion Green, but I'm sure that there are a few. But Sherburne County looks like they're not going to enact it.
Well, that's the way.
Or is that for now? Is that
definitely for now?
Yeah, I think we got a few. We might have a few wishy-washy people there. We got five people there, and they need 3 to enact this.
Felix was a no. Dolan was a no. Danielowski was a no. But Barant was a yes, and there was no reply from Fabio. Yeah.
Too busy buttering bread.
Fobbe. Fob.
Fabie. Doesn't matter. So
it's French. Fabbe.
So for now, it's stopped.
Yes.
But
right. And that's the thing. I mean, we get asked about this once in a while when we're out and about, and what's the whole deal with Tobacco 21 is that they want to take and force businesses in a certain locality, whatever that is. I know they have tried it at the state level. They have tried it at the county level. They try it at the city level. And they want to make sure that nobody can buy cigarettes or e-cigarettes or cigars, or any tobacco really, until they are at least 21 years of age. However, in Minnesota, the law is that you can smoke at 18. So the resulting effect is that you can't buy it, but you can possess it and use it, which doesn't make any sense at all. Because really all you're doing is driving people away from the businesses in your city or county, and you're driving them to the next city over, driving them to the next county over. Now, there have been some mavericks. I'll tell you, Edina, They were early on the list to go T21, and it is kind of
St. Louis
spread.
Park,
St. Louis Park, of course, and is spread out from there.
Plymouth has enacted it. Robbinsdale's enacted it. Plymouth, it was a very close vote.
Yeah,
But yeah,
your conservative city council in Plymouth.
well, I mean, it's made its way, starting with places like Minneapolis, no surprise, and then it's gone out to the first-ring suburbs, and now it's making its way everywhere. And we've talked about this being an issue where if it doesn't get past the state, and there's plenty of people on both sides. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, Carla Nelson, Republican, was the co-sponsor.
Yeah.
I believe in the Senate. Dario Anselmo was the House.
Yep.
And he still is talking about it even after losing the last election.
And he didn't figure that out.
He still thinks he's right on this.
He still thinks he's in office, maybe.
Well, and I've said before, the law is stupid, and the law is inconsistent everywhere. I mean, and I've been a proponent, and I know I've said this before, and if you've heard me say it, I apologize. We got to pick one age where somebody's an adult or not.
Yeah.
We can't have this, the Constitution not applying to you if you're 20. Yeah. I mean, how do we as a state, Jay, tell people, well, it's okay to gamble if you're 18? In fact, the state can run a lottery that we basically finance, and they use to finance, parks and statewide stuff. But at the same time, you can gamble your own paycheck away, but you can't smoke a cigar.
Right.
An 18-year-old, we've seen this with the gun issue where they're trying to bump up gun ownership to 21. But you can hunt in Minnesota. You can deer hunt when you're 13.
Yeah. So
how can I deer hunt with a rifle when I'm 13? I can't own one unless I'm 21.
Right.
It makes no sense. I've said this before, too. A 14-year-old can be tried as an adult in a court of law if they commit a felony or are indicted for a felony. Yet that same 14-year-old cannot get a Tylenol in a public school without a parent's permission.
Right.
So explain to me any kind of consistency in these laws whatsoever.
Huh.
When are you an adult? If smoking's so bad for us, why don't we make it illegal?
Right.
I mean, we know why. It's because the government wants the tax revenue.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, they have blurred the lines, and it really depends. When it's regulation, they make sure that you are a child for forever.
Yeah.
Even in giving away free stuff. I mean, I want insurance, and I'm going to make my parents pay for it till I'm 27.
Right, or whatever it is. Exactly. I was just going to go there.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You can be dependent as long as humanly possible. We wonder why we don't raise entrepreneurs and we don't raise self-starting folks.
Because we're pushing things that are socialist. They expect to get things for free.
So, I mean, the law in this case is so absurd. I've never heard a good answer, Jay, to the questions that I asked of why can an 18-year-old do something but they can't do it? I've never heard a good answer.
Right.
Have you ever heard a good answer to that?
I've never heard an answer, period.
Now, I know that some things you have to give to young folks incrementally. You can't give them everything at once. But don't we do that?
Yeah.
If you want to get a job, if you want to drive a car, don't we kind of ease some people into adulthood?
You can get a job at 14 or 15 under limited circumstances. You can start driving at 16. I think we do a good job.
Yeah, you add some responsibility before they're 18. But we throw an 18-year-old can vote.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old can serve. An 18-year-old can gamble. But they can't, I shouldn't say enjoy a cigarette, but they can't make if an 18-year-old can pick the president of the United States and make that decision, why can't they make the decision whether or not to have a beer or whether or not to have a smoke? I'm not saying they should. I'm saying, to me, the more we try to take from people, It doesn't go away. It goes underground. I mean, we've seen this with. I mean, how many times you go back to Prohibition? Yeah. Did it stop anybody from drinking that we made alcohol illegal?
No.
I mean, there's just. I mean, it's and the same people pushing tobacco 21 are the same people. A lot of them are pushing to make drugs legal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can do heroin, and I can't smoke a cigarette. I mean, I'm mind boggled at this.
Right.
These T21 people must have some campaign money. They got to have some donations.
I'm sure they do. And if maybe that's something we should look into.
They got to have some. I know they've got like the American Heart Association and, you know, all those folks behind. They got to have some dough to be pushing it the way they're pushing it.
Right.
You know?
They have to. You know, and, you know, you look at some of these things that they don't want to make people adults too soon, you know. But you look at our forefathers and how young some of them were when they were out surveying the land. You know, before, I mean, they were kids, and they're out surveying the land. At 17, George Washington, I know, was a surveyor. And I'm trying to remember. I think Thomas Jefferson might have been younger than that.
He was a college graduate at 19.
Yeah.
William and Mary he went to.
Right.
Well, you know, there's a lot of that. But, I mean, to me, it's just sort of, you know, we can't baby people and make decisions for them and then expect them to be good, constructive adults with good heads on their shoulders. When your decisions are made for you, you don't learn anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't learn it. How do you learn to be an adult if nobody gives you choices?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm going to stroke out here. I'm going to stroke out. What's next on the agenda? Minneapolis.
Yes.
Are we back to Minneapolis?
Yes, we are.
No more drive-thrus.
Yep. Thing of the past.
How'd my buddy Blong Wang vote on this, I wonder? I'm curious how he voted.
I'm pretty sure it was unanimous.
He said yes. He took his...
Yeah.
It was unanimous. Once again, all the dissent.
Yeah.
Everybody... Blong Wang decided to vote for that. I'll tell you what is... I mean, first off, I'm not a big supporter of the Americans with Disabilities Act for... several reasons I don't really want to get into because it's off the subject. You know, whether federal government should be, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things.
Andrew Richter against the handicapped.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it'll be portrayed, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll argue that a different day.
Yeah.
But to me, this would seem a violation of that.
Yes, it would.
I mean, how can you say to, say I'm, you know, elderly and I have a bad leg or something like that, I can't walk to McDonald's, okay, because I just can't.
Right.
You know, I got to drive. That's the only way I can get around. I can't go through the drive-thru now. I have to get, I mean, there's a grandfather clause in this, but this is Minneapolis.
Right.
And this tells me that drive-thrus are going to be gone soon because Minneapolis can say, look, I'm not going to re-up your permits or anytime you want to do any reconstruction.
You got to take out the drive-thru.
Right.
Yeah.
There's ways they can force this on older businesses.
Absolutely. But it's restaurants. It's places like Walgreens and CVS.
Banks.
Yeah.
So why? I mean,
well, A, the greenhouse gases from all the idling. B, the
greenhouse gases coming from the mouths of the city council are really what ought to be fought.
Absolutely. You know, so you've got that, and you've got the argument that it endangers pedestrians. Really, because you got to drive in and out of the parking lot anyways, so pedestrians on the sidewalk are going to be in just as much danger as they were before, no more, no less. And people coming in and out of the restaurant, well, you know, you're still going to have people coming and going within the parking lot. You're going to be forcing everybody. There's going to be more pedestrians because they're all going to have to go in the restaurant.
They don't give a damn about the pedestrians. This is the war on cars.
Absolutely,
this is try to. If you're going to eat at McDonald's, you can burn some calories getting there and getting back by taking the bus. And look around on the bus at all the skinny people sitting there on the bus. Ever gone on a bus? Ever looked at a bus driver? Are they? How many are physically fit? Not saying I am, but
Right.
I mean, give me a break. They think taking transit is active living.
They do, and it's ridiculous. But
Car idling. I mean, just
here's the good news. I want everybody to get their roller skates out because the 1950s are coming back, and it's going to be the age of curbside delivery and drive-ins.
yeah. So it's okay to idle on the curb,
Oh, yeah.
but not
Because
on.
nobody's going to shut their car off, especially
course
when they
they're
want
not.
the air conditioning
And
in
the
80
heat in the
degree.
winter.
Yeah.
Of course.
You're going to have more idling
So you
because they're
could-
going to be you're going to have more people waiting and sitting
so-
around in lots.
So like Uber Eats or something can sit there. They can't go through the drive-through to get their pickups. They have to sit on the curb
Yeah.
and idle the car.
Or go in the restaurant. Yeah. I mean, those are your two options.
And
I
by the
guess.
way, stopping and turning your car off and on uses a lot of. Uses more, I think, than just sitting there.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't affect our climate anyways.
Well, I don't think it does, no matter what. But
Yeah.
I mean, is this something coming near anybody? You think this is so wacky it stays in Minneapolis, or does it? I'm sure it goes across the river.
I think it'll go to St. Paul. And I think it stays in Minneapolis for a while. I don't think we hear about it in St. Louis Park or anything like that for a little while.
Jake the Snake will get the idea,
I maybe 5 years from now, maybe. I mean, Minneapolis has gone so over the top on bike lanes, and now, you look in St. Louis Park, you look in Gola Valley, some of those surrounding places, and they're Brooklyn Park is doing them, and it's gonna seep out. It's
got to.
It does.
They're going to at least talk about it. I mean, here's what's going on in Minneapolis, blah, blah, blah. I mean, T21 started there.
Met Council's going to be like, we got to hit our emissions goals for 2050.
Yeah, they got to reduce. I'd like them to reduce government spending by 2050,
Yeah.
which, of course, they'll never do.
Right.
But, the drive-thrus. I mean, hey, you know what? If we're going to live past 2030, we got to eliminate these drive-thrus.
Absolutely.
I mean, look out. We're going to live till like 2030. We're going to live till like February in 2031 by eliminating the drive-thrus, I bet.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, look for drive-thrus to be gone, period. Don't give me this grandfather crap, because they're going to, let's say, like I said, let's say Wells Fargo wants to, remodel their bank.
Right.
Oh, well, hey, guess what? Now to do it, to get a permit, you're going to have to take down the drive-through.
Right.
You think about that. Of course, nobody goes there anyway, but I mean, think about it. How often you use something like that, or use the ATM or whatever. I mean, just nuts. These people in Minneapolis are idiots.
And I'll tell you this, I don't think I'd want to get out of my car and walk to an ATM in Minneapolis. I think I'd like to stay in my car where I could roll up the window and drive away.
I agree. I do everything I can to not set foot in that city.
And I mean to maybe tweet about some of this stuff later, but because most of you won't see it. I have a 7-year-old, he's almost 8, and I don't talk to him about Minneapolis per se. I don't sit and rag on Minneapolis in front of him or anything like that. We were in Minneapolis together driving through, and he's like, "Why does Minneapolis have so much litter everywhere?"
Don't you love kids? Just no holds barred, how they say stuff like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's all this garbage in the
I
city.
know. That is pretty much what he said. Yeah, he might not have said litter. He might have said garbage. Yeah, why is there garbage everywhere?
City council threw a party. That's why. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just disappointed in Blong Wang.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, what the heck? You'd think Wang would know better. A totally unintentional mistake has turned into like a year-long joke.
Oh.
I could have sworn it was Wang, but whatever. All All right, so no more drive-thrus in minute. Jay, what are we saving for the grand finale here?
We're talking about Robbinsdale School Board.
Oh, God.
Provides positive summary of superintendent's evaluation.
Well, I'm shocked at that. I mean, I was really surprised that they would have a positive summary. I mean,
Wow.
what are they going to do? Go out and say, yeah, this guy stinks and we still got to pay him all this money?
Yeah.
We can't get rid of him. I mean, what are they going to say?
Yeah.
I just love the specifics.
Oh, yeah.
I just, Carlos Jenkins. I'm sorry. Carlton Jenkins.
Yes,
Carlos
Carlton.
Jenkins was the old linebacker for the Vikings. Overall, board. I'm quoting the Sun Post again.
Okay.
This is from when the hell is this from? July 30th, 2019. Overall, board members are pleased with Dr. Jenkins and the continued work he's doing. Now, he's been there for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
He's been there a while. Mm-hmm. And the commitment he has to that unified district vision where they decided to focus on academic achievement.
Or race.
What they were focusing on before that, I have no idea. But, or race, one of the two. I guess they go hand in hand. The performance and evaluations has 3 sections. Leadership and management goals of the unified district vision, strategic priorities, and a summary and recommendations. How can summary and recommendations be one of them? How can that be an evaluation?
I don't know.
You're evaluating somebody. You're not taking recommendations. Jenkins' scores for overall leadership and overall management were rated as accomplished, while his scores for board relationships were exemplary.
Yeah.
With no details listed as to what that means. What's overall leadership and overall management? How is that judged as accomplished? So he's accomplished. Doesn't have to do anything more.
Yeah.
Then pack it up. Pack it up and get out of there. You accomplished it.
Yeah.
The ratings are I don't know what this is here. Oh, the goals of the unified district vision. Mm-hmm. There. They have 6 categories. Kindergarten ready. Oh, soccer moms. Hey, you might calm down now when you hear all this. You know, so we know the soccer moms go nuts over this stuff.
Yeah.
Kindergarten readiness. I can see them grabbing a fan already. 3rd grade proficiency. High school graduation rates.
Yes.
Teaching the standards, whatever the hell that means. Central office capacity.
What?
What? That's up there with graduation rates? And middle school transition. What the hell is that?
What?
Is that reopening of Sandberg and
Could be, or transitioning from middle school to high school, or
Elementary
maybe middle
school to middle
schoolers
school.
transitioning from a boy to a girl, or vice versa. Maybe that's their new thing. Is they're going to teach
men's
that.
to women's bathrooms?
Yes.
That is, I'm going to read this, and you tell me if this makes any sense.
Okay.
For the 18-19 school year, Jenkins showed progress in teaching the standards, central office capacity, whatever that means, middle school transition, while scores for kindergarten readiness and 3rd grade proficiency remained flat. Well, how did he show progress if 3rd grade proficiency and kindergarten readiness remained flat? Am I reading that wrong?
I think it showed progress in teaching the standard, central office capacity, and middle school transition period.
I see.
So then he has scores for kindergarten readiness and 3rd grade proficiency that didn't show any change.
Okay.
So no progress. They chose to say remained flat, which is
another word for no progress being
right, except that they didn't want to say that.
Yeah, but I think it's important to understand that the central office capacity has made progress.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that how many people you can fit into the office?
I don't know. I must be.
Okay.
But kindergarten readiness and 3rd grade proficiency. Yeah. We ain't done nothing there. So let me ask you this: if there's strategic goals, if 2 of them remain flat, How
the
does
two
he get
most
an exemplary rating?
And I would say, unarguably, the two most important of those 5 goals.
Along with graduation rates, because that was the next thing.
Right.
Which have increased for the 4th consecutive year. Really? Didn't we debunk that on a show a few months ago?
Yeah, I believe
that they
we did.
really haven't gone up.
No.
And of course, the Sun Post, the great investigative reporting.
Yeah.
You know, if I went to Robbinsdale School District and they were really making progress on this,
Yeah.
do you know you couldn't go to that website without that being flashed as like bright lights on Christmas morning? I mean, that would be everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it would get your attention. Oh my God, we've increased so much. But I mean, you don't even see any numbers in this. What kind of report is this?
Yeah.
Once again, we have to do the journalism around here. And you and I aren't journalists.
No.
The board and superintendent agreed that significant investment, i.e. spending, will be made to kindergarten readiness and 3rd grade proficiency. Well, no, duh. You haven't done anything. So wait a second.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
I mean, what is that? Is that
Hey, we better start doing something about this.
5 years into our strategic plan, we've remained flat. Oh, we better start doing something now.
Yeah. It's like, we're doing
like-
better at teaching kids and filling things up, but
Yeah, it's
they're
like
not doing any better at learning.
like
Maybe we should figure that out.
Yeah, it's like a baseball team that won the same amount of games for 5 years in a row. Hey, we better improve on this year. All right.
It's like the Tampa Bay Bucks going 2-14 every year.
Yeah, pick your team.
Hey, maybe we should build a stadium and buy some new uniforms. And
The chair, Mr. Vento,
yes,
noted that Jenkins' administration has made I shouldn't laugh, has made significant revisions to the district handbook and discipline policy, some of it in which were response to the Department of Human. We talked about the Department of Human Rights. So one of the achievements has been that we have made significant revisions to the district handbook and to the discipline policy, largely because somebody else made us do it.
meaning not suspending and expelling kids.
Right. We've just decided that we're not going to do that.
We did a show on that as well, yes.
And of course, we've got the equity policy.
Oh, good.
Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, this is an exemplary job. Look, how can you, here's my question. If I'm writing at the Sun Post,
Yes.
this sounds like a district, you know what this sounds like? This sounds like a district press release.
Yes.
Where's the reporting here
right.
on what's really going on? Oh, we've increased graduation rates 4 years. Well, where are the numbers showing that?
Right.
You and I have to go dig them up.
And for the things where he showed no progress, they remained flat. But yet, this is the same superintendent that took out a super popular principal at Armstrong who was really going to retire sometime soon. And against the parents' wishes, took him out, moved Principal Eric Norby over from Cooper to Armstrong for 1 year. And I'm not saying anything about Eric Norby.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
He's a great principal. He's a good guy. But
your kids went to Cooper. Yeah, okay.
But this is the superintendent's doing, taking out the current principal and bringing Dave Dahl, the current principal, taking him out, bringing Eric Norby over for 1 year. Where you can't. So really, you're going to start interviewing people for this position over the course of the next year. Why couldn't you have left Dave Dahl in place
or
and not upset the apple cart?
Yeah, and is Principal Nordby going to go back to Cooper?
I don't know.
Who's going to take over? Who's taking over?
I don't know.
Oh.
As you can see, the superintendent is doing a good job.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. You know more about that than me. I do have a nephew in the district, but I mean, you know more about that stuff than I would. My question becomes, nobody can articulate why this is happening.
Right.
Nobody can articulate why this discipline policy or whatever needs some coordinator to it.
Oh, actually, they have.
Oh, they have?
Oh, yes.
I haven't seen that.
Yes, they need to do it so it fits in with the unified district vision.
Oh, Joe, well.
Haven't you been reading? I mean, that's what they say about everything.
Maybe I fell asleep before I got to that part.
That's why they moved Dave Dahl out and are looking for somebody else. That is why they needed
Well, he had to take a break from doing the weather.
Well,
so, I mean, there's...
my word.
I've been waiting to say that.
That's a Channel 5 joke for those of you not in the metro. But yes. Yes. I've been thinking it every time.
Yeah. Between doing the forecast, he's going to work on the unified district vision.
Yeah.
Where they're focusing, ladies and gentlemen, on academic achievement, even though it remains flat.
Right.
So, but they're working on it.
They're teaching the heck out of the kids, and they're filling that office like nobody's business.
Right.
And they're transitioning kids from somewhere to somewhere.
You will. And just remember,
but the kids ain't learning. That's all right.
The unified district vision took 1 year to come up with what they had.
I know.
I mean, an entire school year went by. Kids graduated.
Yeah.
Kindergartners started.
Right.
Then they focused on academic achievement. So now, I know we make fun of the district a lot here, but I mean, we'll have to follow up on these scores and all that, because it's really not a joke.
No,
it's not a joke that kids aren't, ready when they get to school. They've been in school for 3 years and they're not making the progress they should be. And
right.
Personally, I think our standards are low anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean. That's not a joke. A lot of times the kids who achieve in elementary school are the kids who achieve in middle school and are the kids who achieve, and not always. But a lot of times, if you're a good student early, not always,
right,
you're going to take those skills up further. But hey, Jay, I got to say, we got to just make one statement. We got to do more shows like this.
Yeah.
Because that was fun.
That was fun.
I mean, bouncing around, doing the mess around. I mean, that's, sometimes we can get lost on a subject the entire time and we can all get sidetracked and so on and so forth. But you kind of jump around and, one thing about all these stories that we talked about is that, maybe they don't fill up a whole show, but something different in every area. Elections coming up or T21. We've talked about some of these issues before, odd year elections, seeing them in action and updating everybody on what's going on. We've talked about 281 but I've been talking about that district forever.
Yeah.
And everything's remained flat. So, just a little insight there on some things, a long local lowdown list.
Yes. It really doesn't matter where you live in the state because you're dealing with a lot of the same stuff. It doesn't matter if you are in International Falls or Albert Lee. It doesn't matter if you're in Pipestone or if you're over in Winona.
Timbuktu.
Yeah, I mean, wherever you are, these things do affect you, whether that is school funding, whether that is the curriculum that is being taught, whether that is zoning and, planning and building or what have you. These are things that pop up in every city, in every school district, in every county. And so you have to be prepared. I mean, you have to know what's coming down the pike. I mean, if we didn't tell you about T21, when and if it came to your town, you wouldn't know what to do with it. You wouldn't hear about it until it's too late. But now, the moment that you hear about it, your spidey senses go off and you say, hey, that's bad news. I need to talk to my city council people about it. And better yet, maybe it gets you involved enough or want to get involved enough to go and get on a planning commission or a Parks and Rec commission or Health and Human Services commission with the county or a curriculum commission with the school district. And to advise the city council, the school district, the county board, on how to do some of these things, maybe more common sense than they're looking at it right now. If you see these issues popping up and you want to tell us about it, I mean, we may throw it together.
In most cities, common sense is enough. You don't need anything more.
Right. It's true. It's true. If you see these things popping up in your city, get a hold of us. We may throw it on a future local lowdown or do another show like this where we can present some of this stuff and prove that it is happening everywhere. I know that we are talking with some folks who are not from Minnesota. I'm not gonna say where. It's a large country, and it's the same problems. It's the same stuff. It's the same. It's climate action plans. It's special rights for special people and no rights for other people. It's bike lanes. It's the same thing that we find here. So it's no surprise. It was easy for us to figure out all of this because everybody's doing it. So get a hold of us. COMM Solutions, mn@gmail.com. That is COMM Solutions, mn@gmail.com. We would love to help you out. We'd love to talk to you. We would love to help give you strategy if you're running this year. There are elections in 2019, and where we are helping some people with some of those races, and we'd love to help you with yours. And I don't know. I think that about covers it, Andrew. We need to stand up and do something on our march to Team 20K. Hopefully you will consider being a part of it. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. We will have another episode coming in another week, so don't you go anywhere. Spread this far and wide like you're a farmer. Sow the seed. See what pops up. See who raises an interest, and let's cultivate a team that is going to do something awesome here in this state. Because we love you, Minnesota. Now it's your turn to get to work.